Hello, good morning. This beautiful Friday, the 16th day of May 2025. This is Don't Train on Rstv. Like we usually do it here, we give you the dailies on our newspapers. We get you the interesting stories making the newspaper dailies. With me today is Ebere Enyinda, and I'm Catherine Ago.
A very beautiful morning to you. As you said, my name is Ebere Enyinda, and I'm so excited. Yeah. But I would say super excited to do this with Catherine this morning.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure.
Friday morning.
Yes.
You know, thank God it's Friday.
To some people,
yes,
not
so
everybody.
We get to just freestyle, you know, just relax, no uptight dressing, you know.
Course.
Just wear something you feel so relaxed in.
Friday is always Friday.
Our Ankara, you know, the Nigerian Ankara is so
no, we don't joke with it.
You can style it anyhow you like.
Yes,
you
it's a thing of pride actually.
Without sleeve. So
it's actually a thing of pride, you know.
Gorgeous, so gorgeous.
That's one beautiful thing with Africa, you know.
Yes,
you don't find this in some other places except Africa. We have ways we honestly, and when you talk about the styling sense, then you meet them in Nigeria.
You know.
Okay, this morning we have to go to the newspaper. We'll be starting with the Nigeria Tribune. Odi, please take us to the Nigeria Tribune newspaper. On the Nigeria Tribune, we have UTME reps to probe poor performance. UTME reps to probe poor performance. You find that on page 3. It still goes ahead to say to provide allocation for construction of CBT centers in 774 LGAs in 2026 budget. Advises board to release results of under 16 candidates. Still on the Nigeria Tribune, we have Nigeria's inflation eases to 23.71%. That's coming from the NBX. Nigeria's inflation eases to 23.71%. ECOWAS court orders Nigeria to release man detained for 16 years without trial. Wow. ECOWAS court orders Nigeria to release man detained for 16 years without trial. Still on this paper, we have elections. Reps push for a 6-month imprisonment, 100,000 naira fine on non-voting citizens. Wow. I'll take that again. Elections. Reps push for 6-month imprisonment, 100,000 naira fine on non-voting citizens. Still on the paper, we have Bauchi governor insulted my late father, threatens to slap me. That's coming from the Foreign Affairs Minister. And there's another interesting one here. The court convicts 10 Thai sailors. Ship slams $4.3 million fine over 32.9 kg cocaine trafficking. Wow. Court convicts 10 Thai sailors. Ship slams $4.3 million fine over 32.9 kg cocaine trafficking.
Okay.
Wow.
I think before I move to the Daily Times this morning, there's a very funny headline there.
Yeah.
You know, down there on the paper, we have Bauchi government insulted my late father.
Governor. Yeah, that's the governor. Bauchi governor.
Yeah, Bauchi governor insulted my late father, threatened to slap me. Foreign Affairs Minister is saying, now you get that story on page 4. Isn't that fun?
That's another interesting one over there. Kidnappers seize ransom bearers in Ondo, demand 30 million naira for APC chair. 2 others release.
Imagine that, you know. Someone else was kidnapped, and the ransom bearer now has turned kidnapped. And I mean, it's not funny. I don't know where we're really heading to.
Honestly, I do not
know where we're heading to.
Honestly.
And those at the helm of affairs are there, traveling out of the country, having a fun fair, having fun time, when the citizens are really going through a whole lot. I really don't know. You know, what's this former our singer, then it is Sonny Oposu, Which Way Nigeria. Which Way Nigeria. This is really playing out right now.
Basically, actually saw tomorrow.
Exactly. All right, from the Nigerian Tribune, let's move on to the Daily Times.
Okay.
On the Daily Times this morning, we have the screaming headline there: Tinubu backs Mali, calls for West African unity. Tinubu backs Mali, calls for West African unity. That you'll find on page 2 of the Daily Times newspaper this morning. And at the footnotes there, we have MDAs should patronize locally manufactured vehicles. Senator Ndubeze is saying that. MDAs should patronize locally manufactured vehicles from Senator Ndubeze. And that also you will find on page 2 of the Daily Times newspaper this morning. Going ahead, we have Lagos Bank's report on civil servants absconding after foreign training.
Can you imagine?
Also on page 2. Page 2 is really loaded. Also on page 2 you find that story. Lagos Bank's reports on civil servants absconding after foreign training.
And there's one at the top. There's one at the top. There you have group demands sack of education minister. JAMB registrar over UTME crisis. Group demands sack of education minister. JAMB registrar over UTME crisis.
JAMB is really trending this time.
Honestly.
The story
for the wrong reason, actually.
On JAMB is really disheartening.
For the wrong reason.
A whole lot of people are, children are crying, parents are crying, and some people are saying that it really affected the southeasterners more. So we do not know what to make out of that. But let's just see how the story played out, or the drama played out. All right, we also have down there West Africa security and political economy. That you'll find on page 12.
Then still on the same Daily Times, we have foundation calls for more women in elective appointed positions. That's on page 9. Foundation calls for more women in elective appointed positions.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, I think that will be that on the Daily Times newspaper this morning. We'll move on to this day. All right, Catherine.
On this day, we have inflation declined to 23.71% amid lower food energy prices. Inflation declined to 23.71% amid lower food energy prices.
Anyway, I am yet to feel that, Catherine. Have you gone to the markets recently?
Things are still the way they are.
Okay.
Yes.
At least to the best of our knowledge,
honestly,
we're yet to see the effect of the decline.
Maybe it's actually in some states.
Maybe.
Watercut, I can say same.
They're always saying the oil states, and so you have to feel the brunt of every other person.
Honestly,
but we're the treasure base of the nation. Okay. All right. Next screen headline there is Tinubu heads to Rome on Pope Leo the invitation with bragging rights of 62% Christian appointees.
You know what I was saying? And here you have the bishops, Ugoji, Kaigama, Kuka, Martins on delegation. The president expected back in Abuja on Tuesday.
Okay. All right. At the top now, we have NUPRC to raise Nigeria's active oil rigs from 36 to 50 by end of 2025. Okay.
So now we have to move to the next paper. We're going to the Punch newspaper. Here on the Punch, we have economic strain. Inflation surges above 30% in Abuja, 10 states. So which are we actually taking? Huh? The other one said it actually declined, and this one saying it surges. So inflation.
And, the difference is a whole lot. I think the difference is up to 5 more than 5%.
It's 30% surge. So we have food inflation hits 51.8% in Benue amid persistent insecurity. OPS laments rising prices. Yes, still on the Punch, we have Tinubu to join world leaders at Pope's inauguration. We're still on the same paper. Service.
Okay, we also have, I think, something about JAMB there too.
On the parents.
We have parents fear WAEC, UTME overlap as receipts begin today. Okay, the receipts of the JAMB.
You know, WAEC is already ongoing.
Yes, WAEC is already ongoing, and some people's JAMB examination have been reset to, begin. I think today. Yes,
today.
Yes, exactly, and. Parents fear, someone, I already have someone who complained that his niece,
let's finish the papers. You're coming back to the stories.
Oh God, it's really important.
Is this happening?
Yes, exactly. So, I mean, I wonder how they're going to cope with this now. We also have National Assembly divided as compulsory voting bill advances.
Can you imagine?
That's another one.
Can you imagine? It's now compulsory to vote.
Okay,
so 5 arrested over 2-week-old baby sale. Do people still engage in such business? Okay, so we'll move to the Vanguard. Here on the Vanguard, we have ways out of banditry, insurgency by ex-generals, security experts. Ways out of banditry, insurgency by ex-generals, security experts. And still there you have, we need a 1 million man strong military force to tackle the menace. That's from Brigadier General Bello, retired. Then international diplomacy not working in Nigeria's favor. That's from Major Efoziem. Then address soldiers fatigue, Major Olorunbe. Wow. Still here?
Okay, we have beneath now, beneath the paper, we have UTME glitches. It's like I happen to be reading all the Okay, obvious quickly, others worry over impact on students, parents.
Okay, so we have 2027. APC, PDP, LP involved in anti-Tinubu coalition. That's coming from
anti-Tinubu, not anti-party anyway.
I don't just.
So now we're attacking individuals, or we're now, fronting individuals instead of the party.
You've seen it.
So now we're voting individuals and not the party.
Now this coming from APC said defections. We don't want Nigeria becoming one-party system. That's coming from APC. Because already that's the picture we're seeing,
Exactly.
Almost everyone, all the defection happens to go from one party to APC.
Especially, it's not just that. Whenever we have a ruling party, people just defect from
but
the other one. But
does it really make sense?
It simply means
who's actually going to checkmate
just
the ruling party.
Is a game of interest.
Opposition is equally meant to be stronger,
interest. And so when your stomach is not, satisfied here, just switch into the next one and carry on.
Where's the selfless service?
It simply means we do not count on integrity anymore.
Honestly.
You do not count on integrity anymore. You stand and talk about, a particular thing you're supposed to do for your people. You speak against a particular party and all they do. And the next day, we just see you carry your bags and luggage and backpack, switch into that same party.
Well, I think we have to go on a short break. When we return, we have to really talk more about the UTME. Odi, please take us on a short break. When we return, we will have to You're welcome back. We're still on Dawn Train. You're watching us live here on Rstv. We'll read out some of the stories making our newspaper dailies today to you, and today we're going to be picking out just very few, for the sake of time, that actually caught our interest today. For Ebere, I don't really know much about you, but I know I have two very headlines that actually of interest.
Let me tell you the one that really appealed to me.
Okay.
A situation where in a country everybody is supposed to have the power of choice.
Sure.
Okay, and we have rights. And fundamental rights, affords us, avails us the opportunity to really decide what to do as an individual. Find yourself at a crossroad where you have to be forced to do what someone wants you to do,
not what
instead
you
of what you want to do. Knowing that, placing it on the table now, you know that this is right and this is right and this is wrong and this is wrong. And all of a sudden someone comes and said, that's your right. I'm taking it away from you. You have to do this. This is kind of, breaching my fundamental human rights to decide on what I want. And, this actually takes me to the National Assembly, having to sit over making voting rights of every citizen of the country a compulsory act.
And have a fine, or you face a 6-month jail term. That's
what
it is.
That?
In a democracy.
Yes, democratic.
So what's democratic about this whole thing? I do not know.
Where you have to be forced to do something because someone wants you to do it.
Yeah.
It beats my imagination. We leave the serious things we're supposed to talk about when they sit on those seats in the National Assembly.
It looks like we discuss trivial matters.
We're talking about who is begging who, and who is asking who to do what, and who is not. At the end of the day, we forget the main things we're supposed to talk about. There are so many people out there who are going through the risk of insecurity.
Yeah.
Every single day,
what has actually been
bandits
done?
Go into the community, raid their communities, rape their women,
lives are being
capture
lost.
their children, slaughter them
honestly
on a daily basis, and nothing is done about it. And now they sit on the seat to make voting compulsory.
And
at the end of the day, we do not even see, even those of us who go out to vote,
what actually happens at the end. It's quite discouraging.
They give us back what they want us to see.
Not what we actually came out for. And now you want to show me down our votes.
And we know who we voted for. And at the end of the day, we see who they want us to see.
Not our own choice.
Exactly. And now they want to make it compulsory. And now deprive you of your hard-earned money, the little one you're able to hold back to.
A fine of 100,000 naira.
The funniest aspect of it is, even those who go out to vote on those election days, you're at risk. You see them with their hoodlums, with their people.
And that's the reason some persons don't come out to vote. Not necessarily because your choice finally doesn't become. Yes, you don't have that assurance that you are going to be secured as you
talk so much about this one because I don't know how visible that's going to be. I do not know.
What actually beats my imagination is how fast they've actually been.
They'll go ahead and carry out this one.
So you see, it's more like when something actually favors them or a certain set of people in the society, you see them really make haste when it comes to decision making. But when it's something that actually have to do with the masses, you see them trying to act like there are some clogs on the wheel of progress in that particular
here in this very aspect. Because at the end of the day, they still get to do what they want to do.
Well, let's just see how it unfolds.
Why make it compulsory? At the end of the day, they get to do what they want to do.
I know it's not all the members of it's not all members of the National Assembly that actually supports that bill. So let's see how it ends.
Turns out. Yes.
But really, if I am to speak like just a normal Nigerian, I don't think that's what we really need now. You should be allowed to do what you want to do. I can decide to vote, I can decide not to vote. You shouldn't mandate me to vote and actually make out a particular fine.
The most important
specific imprisonment.
If I want to vote, if I decide to vote, I shouldn't be deprived of that right.
And when you vote, it should count.
It should count.
So that's the discouragement we're
When
getting.
I come out today and I vote, and tomorrow I see that whoever they want is who comes out at the end of the day. Tomorrow I come out again and they assure me that my vote will count.
That's the impression. That's the impression we always have over the years. But that of 2023 tried to change the narrative, you know. But at the end, what happened, you know? So and now you're trying to pass it into law. Let's see how it happens, you know, and how Nigerians gonna take it.
Okay, so Catherine, I know that your point.
You know, you've actually been like going through this UTME story. So please tell us your take on this receipted.
Oh, was that the particular headline that really appealed?
Mine is just two. This one you talked about. I didn't even know you probably have such interest too on this voting bill and that of the UTME, because it's actually something that concerns every Nigerian. If talking about the voting, we are all Nigerians here, so it affects us all. And coming to the UTME aspect, if you're not even a candidate, you should have one or two persons related to you.
Your sister, brother,
yes,
your cousin, your nephew,
someone,
your friend's child,
yeah. So you're actually involved in one way or the other. Yeah, so it actually affects everyone. Yes, it affects us all. Yeah, so it's actually something of interest. But I don't really know how others may say it. I am not writing the UTME, but like we mentioned here, that we are all directly or indirectly involved when it comes to this whole the glitches or the technical errors or the human errors that he mentioned. You know, I try to think about what parents actually went through when it was the time of this UTME, when their children or candidates had to sit for the UTME, and for those who don't have parents who will drive them down or accompany them to their own CBT centers, well, you know, they have to like find their way. Some even lost their lives in the process. So, and now you're coming to tell stories. I was meant to understand that all the states in Southeast were affected.
Exactly.
So you can imagine a student who actually felt that he or she is done with the UTME, okay, and the person is actually taking this WAEC. Okay, let me face this. Talk about the emotional, you know, I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot.
The most painful aspect is that you're not going to a center close to you to do this.
That's the
thing. You
thing.
have to move to a particular, it's like a particular area will have to go to a particular center.
So who's going to bear the cost?
We're not even talking about the cost, the risk involved. You know, our roads are no longer safe these days. Aside from the let's say the roads that are not fit for traveling, we also have the issue of insecurity. And you know, you have to put these children on the road to head to a particular, you know, access particular
and you know,
area.
WAEC is equally coming up.
WAEC is ongoing.
My take on this is, if we know we are not mature enough to embark on this kind of programs, as per going through doing it the digital way, why don't we just continue with the way we've been doing it before till we are actually able to manage these things? You know, because it's uncalled for. Like, how many countries have you?
Okay. The news now is that from next year, the WAEC will also
that's what I'm talking about.
Based.
So you can imagine, it's not like this a wake up call.
To handle the jam problem, we're now adding
that of WAEC.
And now the right now the centers will no longer be in schools. It's now be, you know, in
and that will be additional stress.
Exactly.
So there was something that appeared on the paper. There's something that appeared on the paper talking about the government to actually construct CBT centers in the 774 local government areas, you know. And I see that if they will be able, okay, they have to add it to the 2026 budget. I see that as a welcome development. These are the things I'm talking about. If we know we are not ready yet, let's just continue with the one we know we can actually manage. Like until we are actually like we know we have CBT centers in all those local government areas, and we have to equally make sure that the students or the candidates we assign to each of the centers have access to the systems, but the centers they construct should be able to take a certain number of candidates. So we have to like avoid any of these network glitches. Like some person said, their questions weren't really like, you know, forthcoming. A lot of stories. It's uncalled for. You know, so if we know we are not mature enough, let's wait till when we are sure we have everything put in place, so that when a candidate comes to write such exams or take such exams.
I would also advise right now that since this problem was not directly I shouldn't use the word directly, was not caused by the students who wrote the JAM. I think JAM should just cut across all those areas. A particular, I call them a particular.
How? It's not going to be possible. Have you not heard about some students who actually are bright enough? I know those very intelligent students that when you see the result, like, no, now this can't be your result. Someone like 156, 169, and the rest of it, and someone who isn't even bright, having like over 200 and all that. So how are you gonna how many percent of the marks are you gonna award to these persons to make sure that their marks comes up to what the school
when you have a situation that is not the fault of the students.
Of course, it's not the fault of the candidate. It's not their fault.
That, at the end of the day, give 20% cut across to everyone. So if you had 150, you have 20% extra. And at least it's going to boost those who had lower with 20% to get to a particular level. Just give a particular percentage cut across, because having these children to go back to write these exams and all that, is traumatic. Some are already writing their work.
Today, the resitting even starts today, Friday.
So, the person I was talking about had physics, and the day she was supposed to write, coincided with the day she had physics. And physics is a very compulsory, subject for those who are science inclined. And so I don't know how they're going to manage it. I think the best thing is just cut across, or I don't know.
Well, I just feel they might have a better way to go about it. We're actually out of time. Yes. Because the OD is already giving us signals. So I think let's just keep our fingers crossed and believe that they have better ways of managing the situation. And that's how far we can go this morning on Don't Train. I am Catherine Ago. Thanks for being part of it. And my colleague here.
My name is Emerida. Have a beautiful day. Do not change the dial, because we're still here to give you all those juicy, interesting programs for your viewing pleasure today.
Alright everyone, no put your ears, make we talk. Shout my teeth fresh now, but you know, I beg no be so. Ever heard of Colgate, the #1 oral care brand in the world?